Welcome back, guys. If you watched my last video, you knew I was planning on making this video, so this should come as no surprise. If you haven't watched that video, this is my final predictions video for Borderlands 3 until we get some actual, at least an announcement for it. Then obviously I will be predicting the hell out of that. But for now, this is the final pre-announcement prediction video. And what I've done is I've gone back to the 10-part series I've done already, watched all the videos, wrote down my notes on things I don't agree on now, and some things I wish to add that I forgot to add in those videos. So yeah, that's just what this video is a recap of all of them so far. If you haven't seen those videos yet, I highly recommend going back and watching those first. Because obviously in this video I'll leave a lot of stuff out because it's a lot to cover. And I will just be talking about the stuff I missed the first time around. So if you missed the first time around, go back and watch that playlist. As always, be sure to leave a comment, tell me how to improve. I'm always looking for improvement, and your comment helps a ton. And check out my other channel, YC Games. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Just so this video doesn't get too ridiculously long, I know the last ones have, and I apologize for that. I'm going to try to go through this quickly. Just going to do a brief explanation of what I talked about in the video I'm talking about, and then my change to it right afterwards. So it's going to be kind of quick, might be kind of confusing. That's why I recommend you watch those videos beforehand. Anyway, in part 1 obviously I talked about the characters, specifically the playable characters for most of it. And I talked that they would most likely stay within the same realms what we've seen so far, like from 1 going to 2, we'd stick with the same classes-ish, as in a soldier, an assassin, a Zerker, and a Siren. Now, looking back, I actually highly doubt we will get all 4 of those classes, just a different variant of them. I actually think we will get at least some unique. Maybe we'll still have a Siren or a soldier, or like 1 or 2 of them. But I highly doubt we will have all 4 of them again, and I actually hope we don't. I want 4 unique classes. I also talked in this section about bringing back past characters, learning more about their backstory and everything. In this section I talked a lot about Krieg, just because Krieg is a very interesting character to me. And we didn't learn a lot about him, obviously, just because he was DLC. And it would still be cool to learn about him, but I highly doubt we will, just because he was a DLC character, and really kind of just a side thing. He wasn't a big deal, really. But I would still like to learn more about him, and about others. Obviously, the 4 Vault Hunters, the 4 main Vault Hunters from Borderlands 2, I would like to learn more about. We did get quite a bit from audio logs, but actually seeing them as the NAI character, we can learn more about them from their stories and stuff, much like we learned about the characters from Borderlands 1 in Borderlands 2. It'd just be cool to see the same thing going into 3, but obviously the Borderlands 2 characters. Moving on to part 2. In this video I talked a lot about who I hope, or at least think, the villain will be for Borderlands 3. One of the propositions I made would be another Handsome Jack, not Handsome Jack. I still don't want Handsome Jack to come back. I think he should stay dead. I beat him to the ground. I love him, but he should stay dead. Anyway, I brought the topic of maybe another Handsome Jack. Not necessarily like a Jack wannabe, but like another CEO that rose to power and is crazy. I still would be okay with this. It would be cool to see, but he would have to be completely different. He could not even try to be Handsome Jack because he could not do it and he would fail. But I wouldn't be completely against a CEO that had the same power as Handsome Jack, just, a huge company behind him and all that junk. But he cannot act or talk like Handsome Jack because that would ruin Jack's character. I also talked about a universe-ending threat. I still believe that will be the main plot. I talked about that more in the story video and the new information video. That would be fake. Anyway, I still think that is, so that's pretty good. Let's just move on. I'm trying to keep things quick. I know it's fast-paced, but just try to move on. Sorry about that. In this video, I talked a lot about it taking place on a different planet. I still believe we will be on Promethea, or Prometheus, however you want to pronounce it. Anyway, I still think we will be on that planet. That hasn't changed. What has changed is talk about maybe the possible environments. I just kind of thought of some more while I was watching the video. Have some more caves, like an airship or floating islands, a destroyed space station. I did kind of mention returning to Helios. I don't know if it was in this video or the other video, but I did mention that. That'd still be cool to see. I think that was the DLC episode I talked about, now I think about it. Floating asteroids, just cool new environments rather than just ice and desert. Now, yeah, you can keep the icelands and the deserts and stuff, but the more diverse the land is, the less tedious it is going through it. And it'd really be cool having some more landmarks separate them. Maybe have a big city or destroyed city. Again, that was something I did kind of mention in that video, but I do want to reiterate because that's a very important point to me. I want more diversity in the land. And Borderlands 2 definitely did a better job at that than Borderlands 1 did. But I think that was more due to hardware limitations and time constraints and all that jazz, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, step it up a notch even from there. Another thing I talked about were creatures. And one of the points I didn't bring up would be more creature relationships. Kind of like the rack hives. I thought that was a cool thing. I don't know if you'd really call it like a relationship or not, but just enemies the creatures influencing each other. You know, they're living in harmony, you can see them fighting maybe. Just interesting relationships and conflicts you can see between them. That's really cool to see. Also, more evolving enemies like the Varkids. Not necessarily as straightforward as that, but maybe just different ideas. They're great at this, I'm not. These are some ideas off the top of my head. More enemies like that. I don't think I really specified that in that video. I enjoy the Varkids, the evolving enemies, that the longer you left them alone, the tougher they became, so you had to kind of deal with them pretty early. Anyway, moving on. This video is obviously talking about the guns. When I first planned on making the video, I planned on talking about the manufacturers more. I ended up not doing that quite as much as I planned on it. I was going to put off to another video. Haven't made that video yet. I do plan on kind of make a debate video where me and my friend debate the different manufacturers. Still just trying to find time to actually be good for us to do that. Another thing I actually didn't think about putting in this video until rewatching it and realizing this would be the most sensible place to put it would be talking about the grenades. Now, there's really not much I can say about grenades moving into Borderlands 3, except I hope they continue the special ones and the legendary ones. Legendary ones that, like, not just did a ton of damage, but had cool things to them, like I want to say it was like the All Seasons or something, where it just did a bunch of environmental damage. They did some really cool things with grenades. I want them to continue. Like, especially the ones you got from Tiny Tina's DLC. The Fireball, Lightning Bolt, Magic Missile. I actually use a Magic Missile in this gameplay, if you pay attention. The Firework Grenade you got from the Celebration Edition. Just, there's really cool grenade ideas, and I'm sure they have a bunch in their back pocket that they're thinking of adding. Maybe, like, even as a grenade type, kind of like a digger one, instead of, like, you throw it, it teleports the objective, like the longbow. Instead, do like a digger one where it goes underground. Like it can go underneath cover. Just an idea I just thought of. That's what this is, just prediction videos, random ideas I have, and things I hope make it to the game. Moving on. This video I made quite a bit of mistakes on looking back at it. First off, I did a bad job explaining what I meant by experimental game mechanics. Very simply, they're just things they add to the game that weren't in the other games, or even that they were but just expanded upon. Just different things they did differently in this game that either paid off or didn't. And these are kind of the ones in that video. I talked about the ones in the past that I thought worked out good, what I didn't think worked out good, some of my own ideas. And I think most people got that, but looking back it was kind of confusing how I listened to myself explain it. So very simply, they're just different things they added that were experimental. Like they were just a test to see, hey, would this be cool? One of the ones I talked about were the Vault Hunters talking. I did replay the pre-sequel recently, and some of the things that the Vault Hunters added to the story were interesting. They had interesting tidbits to the story that I missed the first time going around, and it was good. I enjoyed the Vault Hunters talking. Now that I kind of saw it again, I guess, it was overwhelming at times. It was not seen other times. So if they can find a good balance, I think the Vault Hunters talking could be a really cool mechanic. if they find a good balance. I think the pre-sequel did a poor job finding that balance, and that was the biggest problem with them adding it. But there is definitely use for it in the game. Another thing to talk about would be loot boxes. Now I do want to stress, because it sounded kind of anti golden keys. I am anti loot box, I want to add. But I do fully support their golden key system they have right now, and the shift codes. As long as you don't, as long as the only way to get golden keys is through those shift codes, I'm 100% okay with it. If they start charging money, microtransactions for golden keys, then I'm completely against it. But how they have it right now, giving the community a little bit extra, I know it's not much, it's just, hey, follow our Twitter or follow this, and you'll get free gear. It's not much, but it is cool, because it gives people more incentive to keep active, you know, see all the news and all that jazz. So I do like it, I think it's a good thing. I think they should continue it. And yeah, that's it for that part. Moving on. This one's a tricky one to talk about, because a lot of the video I talked about a leak that has apparently been proven fake at this point. That really doesn't make a difference to me, because it's all speculation, just fun theories at this point anyway, so I really don't care that it's fake. It's still fun just to watch the video and think, hey, maybe that is still real, who knows. It's just fun predicting, that's all this is. So, it's just another reminder, take everything with a grain of salt. Especially at this point before the game's even announced yet. Take everything with a grain of salt. What I really want to make that video about was talking about the vehicles in Borderlands. Now, I'm actually glad the leak came out at this time, because I really don't know how I'd make a full episode on the vehicles, because all there's to say about it is that they're garbage. They're not very fun to drive. They're really just iffy. The controls are even odd. So just get better. That's all I really have to say about the vehicles in Borderlands. Just they have to get better. On the plus side, what I talked about, the actual confirmed things, nothing really confirmed, but just since then, the Borderlands Twitter account has been more active, it seems. Just posting even just a picture here and there, a couple random videos that are just kind of fun to watch through. They really don't mean anything, nothing even really hinting at Borderlands 3, but just seeing them active just gives hope that there's something big soon. So, not necessarily expect an announcement soon, but expect more teases, and most likely more leaks, especially now that playtesting I talked about in this video is most likely over with now. I forgot what the actual dates were about when they started and stopped, but I believe they are done now. I want to say it was late April when that was going on, so it should be done by now. So expect leaks, hopefully announcement soon. That June 10th date's actually looking pretty accurate, so who knows, maybe it wasn't all fake. Moving on. Unfortunately, when I made this video, it was also very close to when that leak was still going on, and it was before it was fake when I posted it. So I was still talking about things from that leak. So a lot of it was me just freaking out, and looking back at it, and even towards the end of that video, I kind of acknowledged it, that we can't get too hyped for this game. I do want to reiterate that. I know I made a whole video talking about that, but I want to keep it as under control as possible, yet build as much as possible. It's a very confusing time, especially for me, because I want it now. I want just any amount of content we have on it, but at the same time I'm trying to get really not worked up over it, because I have been burned in the past, even fairly recently, about being really excited for a game and it turning out to be garbage. So I can't see it not being good, but at the same time I'm staying doubtful for now, at least until we see some gameplay or some anything. I'll even take a teaser at this point, just something. So, just reminding everyone to stay calm for now. I also talked in that video about making another video about what I think will happen after the after we get a ship, which was part of that leak. I probably won't make that video now, obviously, except I do have a lot of ideas written down, so I kind of want to make it anyway. If you guys want to see that, just leave a comment, I guess. Anyway, let's just move on. This is another video where I actually missed quite a bit of stuff I want to talk about. I'm actually surprised rewatching it how much I missed out on. Most importantly, when I was talking about the bosses, how I want more creature bosses. We really didn't see a lot of that. I kind of mentioned it, that we didn't have a lot, but I want to reiterate that we really didn't have a lot, and that was surprising, because you can do so many cool things with creature bosses, even if they are just awesome versions of the regular creatures. Now, I hope obviously they are unique and different, but at the same time, I just want to see more of that with their own intro, like Knuckle Dragger in the beginning of Borderlands 2. That was a cool fight. It wasn't spectacular. It was obviously the first boss fight of the game, but seeing more of that sprinkled throughout would just be really interesting to see. Another thing I mentioned was a new Hyperion. I said I didn't want Hyperion there, but now that I think about it, it actually would be cool to still see them, not as the main villain. I do not want them to be the main focus of anything, but still seeing them there, and even if they are a faction, you know, defeated, struggling, trying to rebuild, having only a small army, I do still want them there. It would be cool to fight against more Hyperion, even just loaders, but like half-destroyed loaders, because, you know, their whole company is a pile of crap right now. So, just another interesting idea. Another cool thing, which actually I'm surprised we don't have more of, would be support enemies. Now, I want to say in the pre-sequel they're like medics, but I don't really see them doing much healing every now and then. But more stuff like that, you know, medic bandits, support bandits giving elemental boosts, stuff like that. Just, it's kind of surprising in a game like Borderlands that there's not more of that. It just kind of took me off guard that we don't see that very much, but it's definitely something they could do, something they should do. So yeah, moving on. There's really not much more I can say about parts 9 and 10. A, because I made them so recently, there's really nothing I would want to change about it. I realize I talked a lot about Tiny Tina's Assault on the Dragon Keep in part 9, talking about the DLC. But that's just because, to me, that was like, that is the best piece of DLC I have played for any game, not just a Borderlands game. And I don't want to hold all of the expansion packs for Borderlands 3 to that standard, but if they can reach, you know, close to that, then easily worth the season pass, no matter what they charge for it. Also, I don't really know if I mentioned it, but I just kind of said to expect a season pass, just because that's kind of how games are nowadays. I didn't mention, I'm 100% okay with a season pass. I'm perfectly fine with DLC, as long as it's worthwhile, and it's not something that could or should have been included in the main game, and they just broke it off into DLC for extra stuff. I doubt Borderlands 3 would be like that. In the past, they've done good at making good, decent chunks of expansion that wouldn't really fit or make any sense in the main game. So, it makes sense why they would have DLC, and I'm okay with it. With part 10, talking about who will die, I could ramble on and on about every single possibility, every single character. If that's something you guys would be interested in, I guess tell me. I doubt it. I could make a list of every single character. Actually, that's a good idea. If there's one character in particular you want me to talk about, whether they should live or should die, leave in the comments, and I will talk about just that character, any variety of characters you feel like including. So yeah, leave it down in the comments. That's all I really have to say about parts 9 and 10. And yeah. That's it, guys. That's a wrap on the announcement prediction videos on Borderlands 3. Now I know this video was really rushed and still really long. I apologize for that. I really don't know how else to do something like this. That was all my predictions, all my thoughts, all my feelings before we get any content about Borderlands 3. I highly doubt any of it will be even remotely right, but who knows, I might hit a few good strides. There's a lot of fun predicting this kind of stuff. I still plan on making Borderlands related videos, maybe even some kind of like side extras, kind of like this on Borderlands 3 predictions. If you have any idea for those videos, post it down in the comments, or any ideas for videos in general. It doesn't have to be about Borderlands 3. Could be about anything. Could be about video games, movies, anything. Want just me to talk about anything? Leave in the comments. I will. As always, make sure you leave a comment. Tell me how to improve. I'm always looking to improve myself. Your comments help out a ton. I take every advice as much as I can and want to work towards being what you guys want me to be. So, say all that stuff in the comments. I do plan on starting a new series about me just kind of ranting about stuff, if you guys are interested in that, because I really feel like it helps me to get things off my chest by just yelling and swearing for no reason, and usually doing it to someone, not necessarily at someone, but to someone, explaining why I'm mad. Helps me out a ton. It also helps me out a ton listening to other people rant, so maybe this will help you guys. If there's anything you guys are mad about, leave in the comments. I'll take your side if I can. Some things I'm really torn on, so leave in the comments, tell me about that. I will make that for you guys. That's it. Check out my other channel, YC Games, and yeah, hopefully we'll get some news on Borderlands 3 pretty soon.